You don't gotta be a rocket scientist to put two and two together here. This isn't good for Shilo. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you are having a great start to your week. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And unfortunately, we got some bad news to talk about in regards of the Sanders family, but more importantly, Shilo. The past couple of days, the talk of the town has been Nebraska just gave Coach Prime and Colorado a good old-fashioned butt whooping. We also talked about, ironically enough, Shedeur Sanders earlier because he's been in the news for some things he's done and for some things he's said. If you didn't see the Shedeur Sanders video, to make a long story short, people are upset with him. They're saying he's not a good leader, he's a sore loser because he left the game with 2 minutes to go. That's when he started heading towards the locker room. We've talked plenty about that, and then after the game, and this is what really got people rallied up, is they're claiming and they're trying to say he threw his offensive line under the bus when he said, oh, well, look at all the time Dylan Raiola has back there compared to me. And we could talk more about that, but since we made a separate video, like I said, check that out for my full thoughts and analysis. In this video, we're here to talk about his brother, and that is no other than Shilo. For those of you that don't know who Shilo is, and some of you may not because he kind of gets lost in the mix of things, and he does get slightly overshadowed by his father and Shedeur. He's been playing college football for a while now. I mean, it's to the point where he's even making jokes about it. I can't remember exactly his age, but I know he's either 24 or he might be 25 now. He's pretty much your stereotypical graduate super senior type of player. Unlike his brother, he plays on the defensive side of the ball. He's a cornerback, and no, he's not as good as Travis Hunter. I personally believe he is a legit NFL prospect / player, but there's levels to it. And it's not really throwing a jab at Shilo saying he's not as good as Travis, because Travis is going to be a top 3 pick. I think Shilo's talented. Outside of Travis Hunter, he's one of the better players on their defensive unit, and he really holds the defense together. Although there's not much holding that terrible defense together, he was a bright spot in it. It's not a matter of if, it's a win in regards of him going to the NFL. But, and I have an astronomically big but with that being said, things have taken a drastic turn. This most recent weekend in only Colorado's second game, he suffered a, I think you would label it as a major injury. He wound up breaking his forearm and he just had surgery on it. Good news is, if you want to take some good out of this, it looks like everything went a-okay in surgery. He's officially out of surgery, and here's a nice picture of him, Coach Prime, and Bucky. Hey, shout out to Bucky on the right there. If you don't know who Bucky is, that's well off media. Here's another picture of him in the bed, and Dion posted this on Twitter. And I know we like to talk football, and there's a lot of animosity built up against this Colorado program, but what a great father and son moment. For a couple of seconds here, let's just not make this about the Colorado football program. And this is why I'm a big Deion Sanders fan. Say what you want about him, but he is not only just a great father, but he's a great person. Look, I'll be the first person to tell you, his football team, they've looked like hot garbage to start this year, but that's not what we're talking about. This brought a smile to my face because there's a lot of young athletes out here, maybe even some watching this video, that have been through a major surgery like this after having a terrible injury, and their fathers aren't there for them. And for my athletes out there, if your father is in your life and he's at your surgeries, birthdays, etc., be grateful for that because many kids don't have it. Really cool moment there if you do want to take a positive in a negative situation, and I just appreciate the Sanders family. Doesn't matter what happens, win or lose, they stick with each other through thick and thin, and I admire that. And that's the word I'm looking for. I admire the Sanders family, and they remind me a lot of the Ball family. Y'all know the Ball family, right? LiAngelo, Lonzo, LaMelo, and LeVar. For years, and I mean years and years and years, people clown LeVar Ball because he said, oh, his boys are going to make it to the NBA. All they did was hold LeVar to the fire, say he's doing a terrible job, he's a terrible father, and look what happened. LeVar was right. And he always stated that if any of them didn't make it to the NBA, it would more than likely be LiAngelo, and he was also right about that. But the only thing that prevented LiAngelo Ball from making it to the NBA was that whole China incident, and that's a whole different conversation for a different day. But the point is, LeVar Ball got Lonzo and LaMelo to the NBA. He said they were going to make it. People were like, yeah, you're crazy, dude. They ain't cut out for it, or they didn't think LaMelo was cut out for it. And he was. I remember back in the day when LaMelo was like 5'8" and he had that chicken wing jump shot. Do y'all remember that? I can't be the only one. Remember he had his teeth, they were like super spaced out. I'm not making fun of him, just giving you context. And he had that chicken wing jump shot. He had that not long hair, but it was like the poofy hair. And LeVar back then was telling people, oh yeah, he the chosen one, man. He gonna be a top pick in the NBA. And people call him crazy. Getting back on track here, I see a lot of that in the Sanders family. Coach Prime has done nothing but prop up Shilo, all of his kids, and he's put them in an outstanding position to succeed. Shadur's going to be an NFL quarterback. Whether you think he's going in the top 10 first round there, it doesn't matter. He's going to be in the NFL. Shilo, he'll be in the NFL somewhere, and his other son Bucky, he's thriving in his career. Let's get back on track with Shilo himself, and here's the $1 million question. What's next? You don't got to be a rocket scientist to put two and two together here. This isn't good for Shilo, because the plan was, unless I'm highly misinformed, this is his last year of college football and he's going to declare for the NFL draft, and this was going to be a good year to put some great tape out there for these NFL teams and scouts. Well, now, unless he comes back, and I'm not too sure what the timetable is for a return on a forearm injury, this is it. He's not going to be playing the remainder of the season. Actually curious, let me look it up. How long does it take for a broken forearm to heal? Hold on. Okay. 3 to 6 months. Yeah, 3 months, the year will be over. I've seen some other people say it could heal up to 8 to 12 weeks, but even 8 to 12 weeks, the season's going to be over too. All right, so it's looking like Shiloh's cooked. He's not playing again this season. But, and I have another big but, remember, if you don't play in 4 games, that means you can apply for a medical red shirt. Or I don't even know if you have to apply technically. I think if you just don't play in 4 games, you get another season. So if that is the case, does Shilo Sanders return next season? I have no idea. I think Deion's plan is for Shedeur and Shilo to both go to the NFL at the same time. So if I had to guess, I'd say no, he's going to the NFL regardless. I guess we shall wait and we shall see. But the main focal point of this video is prayers and thoughts are going out to Shilo. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like he's been battling injuries almost his entire career. It's like he's always getting banged up. I don't want to put this energy out there. I'm not trying to manifest it, but dare I say, he's injury prone? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think. Because you got to feel like if you're an NFL team and you see him getting banged up here and there once or twice a season, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's just prone to injuries. Why would we waste a pick on him? That's a real thing, guys. NFL teams don't want to give a guy a couple $1 million if they're not sure if they're going to be healthy or not. Prayers and thoughts are going out to Shilo, man. I've suffered multiple major injuries myself, multiple ACL tears, so not only do I have a ton of sympathy for you, my man, but I have a ton of empathy. It sucks. Hopefully he can bounce back and act like it never happened, and I'm sure he will. Since we're talking about it, speaking of injuries, I am genuinely concerned and worried about Shedeur Sanders. That man is taking a beating back there. He took a beating last year and he's taking a beating this year, and it's only week 2. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I almost feel like it's not safe for Shedeur to be back there. And I also believe with him playing behind this terrible offensive line, it's tarnishing his draft stock. It's hard for these NFL teams to even try to figure out whether or not he's a top-tier draft pick, just due to the fact when they play these outstanding teams, or not even outstanding, but just really good teams like Nebraska this year, Oregon last year, he can't even prove himself because the offensive line's just terrible. He's out there running around like a chicken with its head cut off. It is a disaster. I don't even want to talk about it, but I just thought about it. Much love and respect to you, Shilo. Hope we bounce back, my man. Prayers and thoughts, they're with you and your entire family. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts on all this down below. But Romana.